Hey, and welcome to today's episode. I am so excited to talk to today's guest because she is my favorite teacher right now. I have not been as obsessed with something since learning human design as I am with Feng Shui. So, Amanda Gibby Peters, welcome back to the podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. And that's such high praise. I really appreciate that. I do love teaching Feng Shui, but it's even better when people are like, oh my gosh, I love it.
Oh, it's been such a game changer. And for my listeners, Amanda is teaching inside HDX at the moment. And I can't believe we've only got one class left.
I told you guys it was going to go so fast. I'm like, this stuff goes lickety split, and here we are.
Oh my God. And I think about the first time I had you on the podcast and everything I've done with my home.
Yeah.
And now learning all this, like, dude, I have not been interested in learning from anyone for like 18 months, you know? I'm like, oh yeah, I absolutely want to learn that. And I'm like, nope, I'm out. And I'm riveted. Like I'm there, I'm taking notes. Like literally I was getting all the transcripts yesterday and going through everything. I'm like, wow, my cross of planning is activated. It's so good. I'm just loving it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the opportunity to teach. I always like getting a new group of people because, you know, I joke all the time, people know enough about Feng Shui to be dangerous. And I was just actually at a client's house earlier today, and she was mentioning someone that she'd been following and how it just was really intimidating and it felt super rigid. And I'm like, yeah, see, that's the thing. It's not meant to be that, right? It really is so based on the person and the circumstances and what they want. It's so nuanced. You just have to have a conversation to get a real whiff of that. So I'm grateful for the opportunity.
And I also love how you teach, like, love trumps everything.
Yes.
I think that's one of the things that's been a real game changer for me because I'm a 3/5 profile. So I've got, like, I have my all-time favorite painting used to sit just behind me here. And it's actually of a woman. It's called Inspiration. It's in the office. And I've put it into my bedroom. Like I've also got the painting of the couple that this has been a whole thing, people. Trust me, this has been a whole thing. But my bedroom falls into the life's purpose square. And I'm like, it's my favorite painting because it's like literally inspiration, but also possibility. So, and I love it so much. I'm like, a man's got to love me and love this painting. Do you know what I mean? So you've given me the freedom to really follow my energy and my enthusiasm, as well as like cleaning up so many things that have been honestly like mic drop moments when you teach something. And I know for me, there's again been a long conversation about my garage. It's been long, people, but it also falls into this square that is the masculine lead. And I'm like, holy, you can't make this shit up.
No, you can't. And that's why I love the conversations, because you feel so much resistance and you're like, I'll get to that. Life is busy. You've got just so much time you can put in different places. But the minute you make the connection or the correlation, all of a sudden you have so much time. You have so much energy to go take care of it. And then that makes you feel even better. So it's like the best thing to do is to help people realize, like, this thing that you're putting off, do you know what's on the other side of it?
Yeah.
It's so great. And then, of course, people are motivated and they're doing things and they're seeing changes in their lives. And it's just a really good gig to have.
Yeah. And you know what? It's so fun. Like I get so much joy from investing in my home. And I don't just mean money. I mean energy. And the other thing I love that you teach, it's like build a relationship with your home. And we've all been talking about, what do we call, like, what's the name? And we've looked at like gods and shit like that, but nothing's actually landed yet. But really having that relationship, because then I'm kind of like, yeah, wow, I appreciate that you're probably not enjoying that corner either. So when I'm thinking about helping and serving the house as much as the rest of us that live under the roof, I don't know, it also gives me more motivation. So I'm just loving it.
Oh, well, I love hearing that. And knowing that your space, whatever it is that you live in, is a part of your family, whatever you consider your family. And when you start to think of the space that way, you feel more compassion, you feel more patience. It doesn't mean that the things that happen don't frustrate you, but you tend to want to take care of it better.
100%. And
Yeah.
one of the other mic drop moments for me was, I think the first thing I did, and this is back when we did the initial potty, was I started with my wealth corner.
Yeah.
And it's been a journey. There's a whole story where people stole money from my wealth corner. And I literally went into my therapist and I shared this with her, and she said, have you thought about the bigger metaphor, Emma? I'm like, oh my God, no, I hadn't thought of the bigger metaphor. Like, yeah, people fucking just take money from me all the time. So it helped me see this bigger pattern, which was really cool. But the mic drop that happened, it must have been a couple of weeks ago when you were teaching the Bagua, that it's also about self-worth. And both my kids have transformed in the last 6 months. Like they are so certain in themselves. They're like, I can't even explain how much of a positive transformation they've both been through. And I know there's a lot going on for them, but I really was like, wow, that's actually all of us under this roof. You know, we have someone who's here every day that works with us. Taylor's here. We work here. So all of us have had this massive self-worth growth. And I was like, wow. And I didn't have to do anything other than take care of this area.
Yeah, it is. And that's why, again, love the conversation, because once people have just a little bit of fluency, there's so much opportunity within reach, right? When we're scrolling, when we're reading, we feel like there's so much to do just in the prep work. The great thing about Feng Shui, it's with your space, with your stuff right now. And it's just having like this understanding of how to work with it very intentionally and intelligently.
Oh my God, I love it. And last thing I have to say is, how good is my HDX community?
Oh,
how active and involved, and they're so cool, aren't they?
I love an engaged group. You know, sometimes you go into groups and you don't know if everyone's going to be an introvert and there's going to be one extrovert.
Yeah.
But they are really great at driving conversation, sharing wins. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I feel so grateful. It's so fun to do it with them. So, well, today we're actually here to unpack your human design, which is super exciting.
That's super exciting. I mean, I've had my chart read, but I'm telling you, I'm still very much at the baby end of the pool. I don't know. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love it. Well, if it's okay with you, I'm going to share my screen so that people can see your chart. Is that cool?
Yeah, please do.
Amazing. And is there anything specific that you're curious about, or is there anything that's going on in your life that you might want a resolution for, or a goal that you want to achieve, or anything like that comes up for you?
I mean, off the top of my head, no. I mean, I'm always interested in growth. I'll tell you, a life struggle for me is I have a lot of ambition. I have a lot of I could do this, and I know I could do it because I've built what I've built. But as I get older, my energy doesn't agree the same way. And I also know projectors aren't supposed to be the ones that go, go, go. So I'm kind of curious, like, where to find a sweet spot in that is, because I'm very driven by like my own ideas in that. And I love creating, I love having conversations and finding different ways to connect this information, this wisdom with people, but sometimes to my own detriment. So I would love to kind of look into that, because I'm really starting to have this, like, you have got to pull way back. You have to, otherwise you're just going to burn out and you're going to be no good to anyone for a long while.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, being a projector, that is a fundamental challenge for projectors. Like, I've just got off another call and we were talking about the difference between manifesting generator versus a projector. Like, how do they recover from burnout? Well, a projector does it lying flat on a couch, hopefully not in a hospital bed. Whereas, a projector, and a generator does it reinvesting in the things that they love, like going and playing and moving their body. And it's really different. So I think one of the big things for you is, you talk about ambition. So you're a 5-1 profile. A 5-1 profile is highly driven by the impact it's going to have on the planet. It's a transpersonal profile, meaning that the other, as we say in human design, you're going to get motivated by the other. How can I help? How can I serve? How can I solve for them? And that can be challenging for a transpersonal profile to actually take a step back and go, hang on a second, I do need to prioritize myself, my own health, well-being, what I actually, want to create in the world, because it's so easy for you to be motivated by the other.
Yeah.
Resonate?
Yeah, that totally resonates. In fact, a lot of times I think why in the moment, yes. And then later, like, why did I say yes?
Yeah. And that's going to be massive. Like, that's a really important indicator for you because you're an emotional authority. So what that means is you must never say yes in the moment, ever.
Okay. I'll get back to you.
Yeah. And it's hard, because our world isn't set up for that. Our clients haven't been taught that. And we teach people how to treat us. So I would imagine that you're super efficient. A lot of projectors tend to be efficient. You've got a line 1 in your profile. You actually have 2 motors. So you're what I call an energy projector. Okay. So you do have energy to get stuff done, and you're driven to cross the T's and dot the I's. However, you've got to be very conscious that your emotional authority is the thing that needs the final say. And emotional authority is something that happens over time. It's a clarity in your body. I think the best way to describe it is it's when you hit neutrality. So being an emotional authority, it means you're always in an emotional wave. So you're down, you're middle, you're up, you're middle, you're down, and it's constant. It doesn't stop. It's just this mechanical wave that you're constantly moving through. I'm emotional as well. And what that means is it's like there's a veil. So when a decision comes up or an opportunity, or let's say in your case, because your strategy is an invitation, when an invitation comes up, dependent on where you are in that emotional wave, it's going to be a veil that actually removes clarity. So what I mean by that is, let's say you're given an invitation to work with a client and you're in an emotional high. You're like, oh my God, yeah, that feels great, because you're already in an emotional high, right?
There you go. Yeah.
But then you pass down through the neutrality and into the low, and you're like, oh, hang on a second, far out. I don't have energy for that. Oh my God, that's just the worst idea ever. And then you continue moving until you hit that middle space. So you hit neutrality and it's like, oh, it's absolutely no from me, or it's absolutely a yes from me. And you don't have any emotional tie to either or the other. It's just like all of a sudden it just feels neutral that this is the decision. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, that does make sense. I mean, a lot of times I think, gosh, I wish people could ask me to do something on the day they want it done. Because then I would actually know what my energy is that day. But that I've always been able to sort of power through it. And again, like I said, just getting older, you start to notice like, no, my body's like, good luck with that.
Yeah. And that's going to be your challenge, like powering through it, because being a projector and being an emotional authority. So emotional authority is also exhausting. So put the two together. It's funny for me personally, people are like, oh, you're a manifesting generator. You're the Energizer bunny. Yeah. Like I am if I'm in the right part of my wave. Yeah. But if I'm in the low and I've got a defined will center, like I've got and a sacral, like I've got all the things that can make me push through. Right. But I'm just exhausted, So being an emotional being also piles onto being tired, because having to constantly feel emotion, that can be tiring.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't had that explained to me that way. That's really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm like fatigue city, Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got to be so careful, especially because you have a defined root center. So as a projector, you get all the good bits of being a projector, and you kind of also get the bonus because, okay, you're a projector, you don't have a sacral, but you do have a root center. So projectors that have root centers, they do have this motor that's about productivity. It is about getting shit done. Yes. But it's a pulse energy, okay? So it's like, it's on, it's off. It's on, it's off.
Yeah.
And now that pulse could be, on and off over a day, or it could feel like it's on for 3 days, but it goes on and it comes off. And the moment it's off, that's when you have to learn to stop, because otherwise you basically push your body into adrenal fatigue, because you're just running off adrenaline. You're no longer running off your energy.
That makes a lot of sense, because I'll have days where it's like I could outdo everyone in a couple hours. And then I'll hit a spot where I'm like, I don't have any energy, and it can feel like it goes 3-4 days.
Yeah. And that's really, really normal for projectors. So one of the things that you want to really pay attention to is what gives you energy and what depletes your energy. Because anything that depletes your energy, that's work. Okay. But anything that gives you energy, that's not work. So you have to throw out everyone else's definition of what work is and literally just categorize it on this, well, I'm obsessed with this thing and I could do it all day. I feel like I get energized from it, as opposed to like it just feels exhausting. Because think about, you potentially have a cap of 3 hours of work a day. That's it.
I totally believe that. I totally believe that, because I'm like, I can make a lot happen in a collapsed amount of time. But then I've even started this year saying, okay, you get to do one really important thing a day, and it's not going to last more than 3 hours. Like it needs to be done, and then you have the day wide open. I'm working toward that. Like I think by March, I'll actually be able to have my schedule look like that. So I appreciate you saying that, because it is. I'm just like, after that, it's just, I'm fighting myself to get stuff done.
And the thing that's so important is that 3-hour capacity, or that obsession, or that thing that gives you energy, like that's the superpower that you're giving to the world. So you have to take care of it.
Yeah, true.
Like think about the Amanda Gibby Peters that walks into a client's home when she's completely refreshed. She's got she's found the right balance for her work-wise. Think about that version of you walking into a client's home versus the version of you that's chasing your tail or doing too much. Like the energy that you can show up with, the superpowers for you is all about efficiencies. And, like you've got the line 1, you've got the gate 62, which is all about details. It's also in your personality earth, which is your evolution in the gene keys, it's the turbine. So details are your thing. But if you're exhausted, you're just going to be attached to mental details like, it's got to be this, as opposed to being open to, okay, can I refine these details? Like, how can I do this even better? So when you rest, when you give yourself recovery, and that does mean like feet up, being still, those sort of things, the things that really recharge you. When you give yourself that time, then everything else you do will amplify. And if you think about this from a business perspective, especially with projectors, but all non-sacral beings, I just think it's so important that you find an automated solution. So something that you don't need to be available for. Is that a course? Is that, using AI, like on Instagram, many chat funnel? Is it something, because you must find efficiencies in the business that you can automate. You must find things financially that you can automate. If we were thinking about just money as a whole, like sacral beings, technically we can just go out and keep earning it. Whereas if you're a non-sacral being, it's so important to invest and make your money work for you. Everyone needs to invest and make your money work for you.
Sure.
But, the non-sacral beings, because you just don't work that way. You don't have that long-term consistency. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Because you get into the like, okay, I need to do this thing next. I need to do this thing next. And in a business, a lot of times it is like, I have this project coming up, or I've got this team I've hired, and so you're just kind of in that. I don't love the word hustle mode, because it doesn't feel like that to me, but it's just like, let's keep things moving. So that actually absolutely resonates.
And it's that feeling of, in your business, you should feel more like the visionary or Yoda sitting on his cushion, as opposed to, like the CEO. As much as you're still the
Yeah.
CEO, you don't need to be across everything and doing everything, or it's actually like your wisdom is the priority. So making sure that you're available for people to come to you for your wisdom, as opposed to, managing things externally. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does make sense. Yeah. Funny enough, this morning I started off the day with a team that's going to take over a bunch of stuff for me. So I was getting to meet everyone, and it's for that. I mean, it's preservation.
Yeah. And that's so important. And if we look at, I'm just looking through the frame of the gene keys. So your culture, so it's the design Jupiter. You actually have the gate 37, which is the gate of community, in the line 3. So the line 3 indicates that you're going to do really well surrounded by a small team. Okay. So that's culturally, that's where you're going to thrive. But then if we overlay, there's this thing called BG5, which is the business arm of human design. When we look at your design, you don't have anything that contributes to what we call the penta. So you are not designed to be in the group and being one of the worker bees. You are designed, all of your superpower sits outside of the penta. So, and I could be incorrect in this term, because I know that I'm an alpha. You could also be an alpha. What that means is that your leadership sits outside the gate, sits outside the group. So even with that team that's being built around you, make sure that there's a specific person that they report into, that someone else within the team is running it, so that you can sit outside of the group as the visionary. Make sense?
Yep. That's timely and helpful.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So I think one of the other things to say, you've got defined spleen, defined root, defined solar plexus. Then you've got a wide open will center, wide open G center. So one of the things you've got to be really conscious of, and probably I would guess by this age and knowing you, as much as I know you now, it's this is the house of lovability and the house of worth. So you've really got to be conscious of kind of putting your own flag in the sand, saying, yep, I'm lovable, I'm worthy, and, stop proving, stop trying to get validation, all of those things. I'm guessing that's probably something that you don't do so much of now, but perhaps
that's an on again, off again struggle. But yeah, I've gotten a lot better about it, just because I've been doing what I do for so long now that I'm just incredibly comfortable in my own skin. But I think there's still whiffs of it that come back sometimes, different rooms, or when you're pitching different people, and you're not getting the feedback or the responses you want, there's that, I need to try harder. You put it back on you instead of this just wasn't the moment.
Yeah. And this is the thing, ultimately all projectors really need to lean into, you are a really important wisdom bearer. Okay. So there are lots of things that you can do in the world.
Yeah.
You're going to create efficiencies for people. You're going to make things run better. You're going to help people run their energy, because that's what projectors can see, how energy is being used. Is it resourceful or unresourceful? I mean, again, that is Feng Shui, right?
Yes, totally.
So, but you're not necessarily the one that's got to be in the trenches doing everything. So it's really this change of identity of wow, okay, I'm the one that is here to oversee, to guide, to share my wisdom, and be in that position, because that's a lot more of a subtle energy, as opposed to any generator type where we kind of get in and get our hands dirty. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have to think about how to do that, but I do see that. And that, funny that you say that. When I started my house therapy certification, a lot of it was, I had so many one-on-one clients, I was just constantly booked, that I thought, let me train or show people how I do this so that they can go do it. And then I can refer people to them. go do it. But I know that they're doing it with the same amount of compassion and consideration that I've sort of taught myself as I've learned this wisdom.
Yeah. And I love hearing that, because as a projector and a 5-1 profile, like systems, like the system that you would create, what you would create and teach, let's say, I'll just call it, let's say, your own certification.
Yeah.
That certification will be epic. Like that's what your energy really tends to.
Yeah.
You know, I think about the things that I create. A lot of what I create is about self-empowerment. So
yeah.
it's more about, you know, the people in there, they're visionaries, they're you know, there's a standard of radical responsibility, like all of these things. Whereas people in your programs, yes, they might have those same things, and they're going to have like, this is the guardrails, these are the T's, these are the I's, you know?
Yeah.
And really be able to provide an output that you provide.
Yes. That's it. It's like, I want you to show up and do this with the same finesse. You know, so I'm going to give you the shortcut way of learning so you don't have to hit every sharp corner and trip on every rock on the way like I did. And it still takes a little bit to learn your way, but that's exactly it. It's like, this is my process. This is what I've learned. These are the things that work really well. These things don't matter as much as you think they do.
Yeah. I love that. It's so cool.
Yeah.
If you're a coach who uses human design in your business, we need to talk. Why are you still sending people to someone else's website to get their human design chart when you can have the chart generator right on your own site? We've been using the Bodygraph chart software since 2021, and it has brought in over 50,000 new leads and multiple six figures in revenue from one simple form. Clients get their chart instantly. We capture the email, we automate the journey. They can even purchase a personalized reading report without us even lifting a finger. It's affordable, easy to install, integrates with everything, and the support team is incredible. If you want to grow your audience, automate your front-end funnel, and turn your human design knowledge into real revenue, you need this tool. Head to the link in the show notes to start using Bodygraph and use the code HumanDesignPodcast for 30% off for 6 months when you sign up. So I want to go a bit deeper. We're going to go and have a look at your core talent. So in the Gene Keys, we have a core talent. It starts out, and when I say starts out, like when the soul comes into the body, which is approximately 3 months before you're born. And the cool thing is that there's research that have proven this through neuroscience, that the fetal brain changes 3 months before, the activity increases 3 months before you're born, approximately.
Oh, wow.
It's so cool. I love seeing science proof these things. And there's a lot of spiritual, methodologies or lines of thinking that have said, there's this time that the soul comes into the body. Now, if we're thinking through the frame of the Gene Keys and human design, this is this side of it's the design side of your chart, okay?
Okay.
So this is the soul journey. This is the physical body. And we're going to talk a little bit to that as well through the context of burnout in a moment. But our core talent comes in, it's actually something that's handed down to us. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it was handed down by our parents or that way.
Yeah.
It could be a past life. It could be our lineage.
Oh, okay.
But literally it's something that we're bringing in. So we're born with this particular wound that becomes our talent.
Oh, okay.
So the 32 for you, it's actually the shadow. This is the wound of failure.
Oh, okay.
So the fear of failure or the shadow of failure has been like the number one wound or challenge, and it might show up, almost every challenge that you have, because it's like this number one thing that is shaping the diamond, to become your core talent. And the core talent is preservation. It's this ability to go, all right, and you've actually just languaged it. It's like, okay, these things need to end, drop away, be done with. These things are worth preserving. So it's like through the wound, you have really stepped into this gift of preservation. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, it does. So it's funny you say the shadow of failure because, you know, very early on, I had some really big opportunities come my way. I mean, this was like, 15 years ago. And I said no because I just didn't feel like I was up for it. And of course, looking back on it, I'm like, oh, you silly girl, you should have just said yes, But along that way, I realized I should just start saying yes and I'll figure it out. And it's been really true for me. That's how I handle that, like the doubt, because it can become so oppressive. But also in that, I would say over the last 10 years, I'm one of those that I look at things and I kind of jog down the road and I'm like, okay, how's this going to fare for me? Because, and anyone in my house will tell you, I'm always like, it's self-preservation first, folks.
I love that. That's so good. Like literally speaking your design. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a good freaking mantra for a projector, may I just add?
Oh, well, good. Yeah. No, who said it? I think it might have been the Essentialism book years ago, that protect the asset. Right. And I was like, there's something that clicked for me. And I'm like, okay, if I say yes, what are all the ways I'm going to have to be involved in? Yeah. No, I don't. I don't have that responsibility.
And what I love about that is that through not fearing through fearing failure, you've learned that whole lesson. Like, okay, it's not about am I ready? It's about does this preserve me, my energy, my gifts, So again, that's this really important journey that you've been on. And as we say, like in the Gene Keys, it's kind of like this is the one specific thing we're here to do. So this preservation and helping other people learn what to preserve. And, again, that's what you teach is really like your fundamental number one gift that you give to the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I'm good with that. I like that assignment.
Yeah. So good. The other thing that I think is really interesting is you just mentioned doubt. Did you say crippling doubt? I don't think you said crippling, but it was a word
like
similar
it
to
can be
that.
Oppressive. Yeah.
Oppressive.
Like where it's just, you think, you start wondering all the different ways that something can go wrong.
Yeah.
I'm really familiar with that road.
And what's really fascinating? Like you actually have the gate of doubt. And it's in your Jupiter. And, Jupiter's kind of like luck, money, that sort of thing. In the Gene Keys, it's our pearl. And what the Gate 63 really teaches us, and our pearl is what we receive when we're in alignment with our prosperity, okay? So when you're doing your core talent, when you are in a culture that's aligned to you, so that's what I spoke about earlier, the gate of community, line 3 with a small group. Then when we're on brand, yours is the 61, and I'll come to that in a minute. When we're aligned with this, then this is kind of the theme of what we will receive as prosperity.
Okay.
And the 63, the gate of doubt, the really interesting thing about the gate of doubt is that it's this natural energy to just be like, I don't think that's going to work.
Okay.
And it's not being a negative Nancy. It's actually just being like, that pattern does not play out. Like that 1 + 1 does not equal 2. And because you don't have the 4, it's not even like you need the answer. What it's telling you is it's like you are designed to see what's not, like, I doubt that's going to work.
That's so true. And, I spent so much of my life trying to find the logic to back it up. And then I would say probably around 35, I was like, I'm done with that. I'm right. And you can find out the hard way. And my girls will give me a hard time and they're like, why do you have to be so cynical? And I'm like, I'm a realist.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's actually because you have the gift of seeing the shit that isn't going to work.
I do. And it's like, I don't want to be, I told you so. But inside, there's a little bit, I told you so.
Yeah. And I got to say, I love that you're like, well, for years I tried to work out the answers. And from a human design perspective, you just don't have that energy. You don't have the gate 4. Yeah. If you had the gate 4, then you'd have the answers as well. But you're not designed to. You're here to say, hey, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
which is really cool. Have you got any questions so far? Anything that's come up for you?
This is actually super interesting, and it absolutely is spot on.
I love it. The next thing that kind of jumps out for me is your nodes. So we've got the South Node and North Node on the personality side, and South Node and North Node on the design side. And what's interesting, because this doesn't happen for everyone, is you actually have the same gates on both sides, different line numbers, but our nodes are like the path we walk. Okay. So all of our gates, so all these numbers, they're all our gates. You know, that they are our specific themes that live within us. Our definition, so the coloured in centres, so spleen, root, solar plexus, this is who you feel you are. It's your consistent energy. Then our undefined centres is where we take in, amplify, and reflect back other people's energy. So often our intuition is felt that way, but that's how we also read other people's energy.
Okay.
But our nodes are the path. It's like the theme that we're walking.
Okay.
And what's really interesting is, so you've got the 9 in north and 16 in the south. So the 16 is the gate of enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
It is such a nice energy. Like I've got it. I mean, I would say that because it's a really big gate for me. But it's this energy of genuine enthusiasm, like childlike enthusiasm for the things that you really enjoy and the things specifically that you want to master.
Okay.
So up until your early 40s, you are walking the path of mastery. Okay?
Yeah.
But after your Uranus opposition, and our Uranus opposition happens in our early 40s, then you move into the gate 9. And the gate 9 is the gate of focus. And I think what's interesting about the conversation is the gate 9 is, instead of like repetition, mastery, it's like, okay, this is the thing that matters to me. This is where my energy has the energy to focus. Yeah. This is where I want to move forward. And it's always aligned to a bigger dream. That could be impact. You're a line 5 driven by big impact. That could be safety, security, and good foundations, line 1. Yeah. It could just be specifically Feng Shui, but it could be being a leader in that space, whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's more time to stay focused on the big dream instead of like gathering things and mastering them.
Yeah.
It's this time where, okay, you're more in this, you're walking the path of focus as opposed to that constant picking something else up and mastering it. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, that timeline works too, because I remember, I was doing a lot of client work. I would say 2018, 2019, I was just like really, really busy. COVID hit and I was on so many podcasts and I was on Instagram all the time and I wasn't having time to prepare. Like up until that point, I really liked to know what questions I was going to be asked or what I was going to kind of have a loose idea of what I was going to say. And I had in more requests than I had time to prepare. And so I had to just sort of, fly by the seat of my pants. And I realized, oh, I know this so well. Like, you're not going to ask me a question that throws me. And I also got really comfortable saying, you know what? I've never been asked that question. I don't know. Let me think about it. And so I feel like, 2000 was a big change for me because I got really comfortable really fast, which would have never happened had there not been just this sudden urgency and unprecedented moment for everyone. Right. So that definitely, like, that focus now, okay, help people understand this. I'm not worried about making sure I know everything, because I do. It's somewhere in there. And a lot of times it's just someone asking a question, and all of a sudden this random thing that I remember learning comes to the surface. I'm like, oh yeah, I do know an answer to that question, Yeah.
I love that. And it's actually what you just described in these arrows. You see how you've got 3 of them point to the right, only one of them points to the left?
Yeah.
You have a lot of what we call rightness, and rightness, we call anyone who has all 4 of them pointing right a future human. Okay. Because this is an energy of resourceful receivership. It's more feminine than masculine.
Okay.
So what that means when you have a lot of rightness is you take in so much information when you're present in the moment. That's all you got to do, is be present in the moment. Now, the challenge with having a lot of rightness is you think, oh my God, this stuff's not sticking. Like, I don't know what I know. Like, I've done all this study. But then the moment someone asks you, you're like, where did that entire novel come from? You know, it's like all so you need is something to respond to, and all of a sudden it all comes out. So that's very much the way your design is. Like, if we have the arrows anywhere that we have it left, it tends more to the masculine. So it's strategic and focused. And it's kind of like, well, this is the pathway. So again, that's very much you've got a lot of brightness in you.
Yeah. It's such a, I wish for everyone to have that experience, and I say that to my students all the time, like, more than you realize. You just have to be willing to put yourself in the hot seat or out of your comfort zone, because you'll never find out if you don't do that. Like that's where you really figure it out. Like it's, what do they say? Like the rubber meets the asphalt.
Yeah, exactly. And I love it as well because you're a line one. So one of the things that holds a lot of line ones back is like, oh, I need more information. I need another certification. But the moment you have the clarity from your authority and you've said it, like, I just stopped preparing. I didn't have the time. It felt like, yep, I'm good for this, because it's a feeling that you're ready. It's not a list of qualifications. And the line one is often referred to as the authority. And in their shadow, they're like, I'm not the authority yet because I need more. No, you were born the authority because you investigate things more than any other line number. So you probably have 10 times more the information than anyone else. And it's not about the information. It's how you've put it all together that matters.
So I just want everyone who's listening to know, this is what I tell my students all the time. I did all the studying. I did all the, let me take this certification. Let me study with this teacher. And I put it all together and I figured out the way that it all works. I've done the hard part. Come learn Feng Shui with me, because it truly, like, most people get certified one place. That wasn't good enough for me. So I was in a school and then another school and another school. And I was doing all the things just to sort of, satiate my need to really understand it all. And that's, I've been able to have that experience and metabolize it and turn it into, this is a really efficient process for reading someone's space and also getting them results. It's not, you're not guessing, you're not throwing everything that's in your Feng Shui bag at them. This is the process.
I love that. So good.
Yeah.
Then the last thing that I really want to touch on is your incarnation cross. And I think I've mentioned this to you before, because up until, I'm going to say, probably 3 years ago, there was a cross of obscuration in my life, and I'd only ever come across one other cross of obscuration. It's a very rare cross. In the last 3 years, I feel like I've met so many. It's crazy.
I love that for us.
And so the cross of obscuration. So when we talk about our incarnation cross in the original knowledge, Ra called it, it's the job description of your aura. Okay. So if we think about our aura, and now this is something that we can scientifically measure, it's a torus field that comes from the heart, and it's about 6 feet out from us. We know our memories are kept outside our head now. Everything's in our aura. Now, whenever someone comes into aura with us, then our incarnation cross in most situations is switched on, or each cross has a friend of mine calls it workload. So if you use for specifically, you actually have quite a light workload. So what that means is it's not going to be every person you come across, because it's going to depend on their design. It's going to also depend on the transits, okay, so what's happening in the sky. But ultimately, once people come into aura, then our incarnation cross goes to work. It's not something we do. It's something our energy is doing. The story I always love to tell is my 2 kids. So when my first son was born, he's a sleeping phoenix. The sleeping phoenix is about helping people rise from the ashes. That was when my mental health took the biggest leap forward. Okay, so he was just born. He didn't do anything, but his incarnation crossed the energy. Then my second son was born. while I was pregnant with him, I was still working in the advertising industry. I was like, I can't do this anymore. 3 months after he was born, I started my first business. So he's a cross of the Sphinx, which is all about changing direction. So we don't have to think about it. We don't have to be like, oh, well, if this is my incarnation cross, then I have to go out and do X, Y, Z. No,
Sure.
We will inevitably create a life that is, or a business that is, because it is a lot of the work that we're here to do, but we have to not identify with it, like not just make it like it's all of our doing. So you have this cross called the cross of obscuration, and it's all about finding the truth. Like this is like getting to the bottom of things, like, and the obscuration can also, in its shadow, can obscure its own truth and anybody else's truth.
Okay.
And in its higher expression, it's this energy of like, hang on a second, we need this, the waters are muddy, let's clear them. Let's really bring the truth out. Does that resonate for you?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like when people get really caught up in a story, I'm like, noun, verb me. Like, just give me the noun, give me the verb.
Yeah. I love it.
I just want to know. Like, I don't need the story and the drama. I just want to know what we're really working with, and then we can go out from there. So that, it's like, because I want to know what, like, stripped to the studs, what we're dealing with. And then because I even like when I go into people's homes and they want to tell me all the things, I'm like, don't. I know what I'm here to do. I don't need the story, because the tools that I work with, the things, the medicine we're bringing in, it's going to do what it needs to. And I don't need to understand the story.
Yeah. That's the core of it too, right?
Yeah.
It's like and it's interesting, like as a coach, like people are always like, oh my God, sorry, you're listening to all my stories. I'm like, I'm not listening to any story. I'm listening for code. I'm listening for specific words or how you frame things or your perspective. I have no idea what you're telling me about drama. Like, I'm not listening to any of that.
Yes. I listen for certain words, as I've taught you guys in class, for like, okay, where, like what has heat to it? And this is telling me, is this more of a clutter situation? Is there a challenge in the home? Like that kind of stuff. But sometimes the truth is just like, let it go. Like that's the,
yeah. And it's the beautiful energy of like, it can be uncomfortable, you know, because I've seen it play out where a cross of obscuration just says the thing no one, like the secret that no one wants to hear. So it can be uncomfortable. But it's also like this gift of really like, because the gate 61 is the gate of why. It is the gate of mystery. It's the gate that is like literally open to the great why of the universe. Like it's this really big, expansive energy that wants to get to the truth of how the universe works. Then you're 62. It's called the gate of details. So our sun and earth, they're polarities. So they often look like, they're often a paradox. So they look like they're opposites, but actually they work together. And when you're in your shadow, you will potentially like swing from just being macro or just being micro, and it never works. For you, it's all about, okay, if this is the big picture, then what do the details mean? Or if these are the details, I'm just going to step back and have a look at the big picture, because when I can understand those 2 points, then I can really bring the magic out. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah. I do a lot of reverse engineering that way. Like, okay, here's the thing. Okay, now let's go micro. Like, what is this going to really, like, break it down into as many, not steps, but like, what am I saying yes to?
Yeah.
Because even if the truth with any business, even if you hire everything out, there's still so much of you that is required to show up, and ultimately it is on you. I think this, I opened a store a couple months ago, and it's just like, oh my goodness. That learning curve all over again of like, oh yeah, I guess I'm the boss. This is my problem.
Yeah.
So it is looking at things and then pulling, way into the weeds and saying, okay, what do we need to do so that this gets better?
Yeah.
And then also when you're doing the details, like, let's not make this more complicated so that we can get to the outcome more efficiently. Yeah.
I love that. And we're gonna just scoot over here to your design earth, or in the Gene Keys, it's called your purpose. So it's actually the purpose through the frame of inner fulfillment. It's the thing that's really going to make you full on the inside. And you actually have the gate 3, and the gate 3 is the gate of chaos. It's the gate of, in the I Ching, it's called difficulty at the beginning. So often people who have the gate 3, especially in a prominent place like you, they can kind of feel like, oh, fuck, why is everything so chaotic for me? Like, why are things so messy? Because the truth is that what fulfills you is taking that difficult first step into chaos, because once you start, you're going to bring everything into order. Like, your gift is to go from chaos to order, and it's actually what fills you up on the inside. Does that resonate?
Yeah. In fact, this is just reminding me so much of, the US is a mess. And this reminds me of when we went through the first administration of what we have now. And someone on Facebook, I'm not on Facebook anymore, but someone at the time reached out to me and they're like, why are you so upset? And I said, because I see how much chaos we're about to endure. And as someone who helps people prioritize, order, optimize, it just feels so unnecessary. There's a Facebook post with that exact answer. And it's because I'm like, whatever the beliefs are, why does it need to be so messy? Why do we have to pull everything apart? And I do believe in scorched earth in certain situations, because that's where you get the best growth. But yeah, for me, that chaos is, when I step into something, it is like, okay, I'm really good under pressure.
Yeah.
And so I'm someone who's like, okay, not void of emotion, but like, we'll put that to the side. We'll deal with that later. Let's just get what we need to done.
Yeah.
And what's the next step? What's the next step?
Yeah. And that's very gate 3. It's also being a line 5. So a line 5 in your profile is the problem solver. Like, they're the ones that, like, I know I've had similar feedback. People will, even in emergency situations, like, first responders are like, I don't know how you were so calm. Like, it's just the way I'm designed, like, when there is an emergency, when there's something challenging, I just lock into, and you'll be the similar, is like, what's the solution? What's the solution? What's the solution? And having the 3 as well, it just means that you can manage chaos and see, like, you can step over this is really chaotic and all over the place, and then go, okay, but the first step is this, and then the next step is that.
Yes. I joke with a friend. I'm like, if we have to walk fire, we're just going to start taking steps.
Yep. I love that. It's so good. So good. And what's interesting as well, in your design sun, this is called your radiance in the Gene Keys. In human design, it's the gate of values. So it's actually the metaphor of the 50 years, teaching teenagers the values of the tribe. Okay. But in the Gene Keys, it's really interesting because it's very much about power. So it's the values of, the collective, of big business, of like, it's where, you're going to see a power imbalance, like everything that you're talking about, like, hey, this shit doesn't work for the tribe. This is not okay. So, because in its shadow, it can be, a grab for power, but in its higher expansion, it's very much like, no, this doesn't jive for the rest of the tribe. Like, we need to all have shared values here. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, one of the things very early on when I started working with people in their homes, and, it sounds overly simplified, but it's not, is I was like, I can tell if this is a fear home or a love home. I can, and it's not about how people present, and it's not about how it's styled. You can tell by the stories being told or the things being held on, like, you can just tell. And so it was really like, how do I get people to release the fear? And I think that creates a lot of the chaos, is the worrying and the what ifs and the, being so afraid of growth or progress or new perspectives. And you can see that in homes. And so that's why I love getting into the weeds of the conversation about what things mean and having people assign that meaning, because they will take themselves through that transformation themselves.
Oh my
but it's
God, that's,
inviting them into it. Yeah.
yeah. You've just given me another mic drop moment about my house and Feng Shui and everything. Like the energetic shift in the home, because the boys and I still live in the same home that my ex used to live in as well.
Yeah.
And the home itself, like, and I've shared this with you in class, and I'm like, in the past, like my eldest son would always go to his friend's place. He wouldn't bring his friends back here.
Yeah.
And there are certain things about his design that really indicate that. Like he's very private and likes his space. But now he brings his friends here all the time. My youngest, this whole conversation of like, I think I made my home too welcoming because like 14 of them hang out, for days on end in our trees and on our front deck. But that whole shift in energy, like now the primary energy, like the leading energy in the house would be me, and I'm deeply optimistic and I'm fun and I'm playful and I'm supportive, and I can really see, even working with all my Feng Shui, how that's just become the dominant feeling of the house.
Yeah, that's such an important takeaway from Feng Shui is, people worry like, well, what if my family's not on board? What if they don't agree with it? And I'm like, that's the thing. You're working with energy. Energy does its own PR. It doesn't actually need you to help it.
Yeah.
And so as you change things, it's that rising tide lifts all boats. It's like everyone is going to benefit from the energetic improvements. And then from there, they start to feel a little differently, which means they're thinking things differently, which means they're feeling things differently, which means they might be inquisitive or open or receptive, and so it's like you just need to start doing things and let the orchestration happen, because it does. And I can say that from being in so many homes. Even today, the client I was with, her husband was like, I don't want you in my office. And I was like, oh, but you will.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see you in about 3 months.
Accepted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's I just love it. I think the other thing with Feng Shui, and you said this, I think, on the podcast, and you've reiterated a number of times, the thing that really gave me a sense of relief, because like you, I'm also a line 5. Line 5s will tend to take too much responsibility.
Yeah.
So this whole idea of like, you can co-create with the universe and bring your house on board so it's doing things for you. And that moment, the first time you said that, I was like, thank God. I can just take some of this off my own shoulders. And like my home can do it. My office can do it. Like, oh, such a sense of relief.
Yeah, it is. I love that. Like it's, you've got this collaborative, willing partner, and you're sitting here looking at your family like they won't participate. I'm like, but your house is like arms wide open, baby.
Yeah. Ready when you are.
I've been waiting for this moment.
Yeah. I love that. Is there anything else human design wise that's going to make today more complete for you?
No, this is really helpful, because I am making some big changes and some, bigger investments in terms of bringing people on. And so everything just feels incredibly validating. So I appreciate it, because it helps me feel good about the decisions, because, I can go back and forth.
Yeah. Hello, my emotional authority friend. Like just don't make decisions, all at once, and this is my personal experience. So it's not a hard and fast rule, but especially being a projector and being an emotional authority, like if someone in your team, may be in leadership position because you already bring the wisdom, like it might be beneficial to have a pure sacral, whether that's a generator or a manifesting generator that just has, because I know for me, my entire team, and this I didn't do it deliberately, are all pure sacrals, MGs. So sometimes if I'm still sitting in the murkiness, I'll just talk things through with them and just get their feel. Doesn't mean that they make the decisions for me, but they can often move things in the business that aren't direct, or that I'm like, you know what, you can make that decision. So it can be helpful to have that when you're emotional or you don't have your own sacral.
Yeah, that is helpful, because I know people do all these different types of energetic, profiles on people, and that actually would be really great to have people that are going to help me where I'm really need those, that assist. I hadn't thought of it that way, so thank you.
And you're also going to and I'm super happy if you with the team, if you're comfortable asking for their design, super happy to have a look at it and just, say, well, they'll be great at this, or because for you really want people who have definition here. So from the throat through the G center and down to the sacral. So these 3 here, like that's what you really want, because you don't bring that to the group. So I'm actually quite similar. I've got 2 activations, but you really want to find some people that have got that, because then they can run all the back end, and then you can do the visionary stuff.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. I love it. So good. I am going to stop sharing and just say thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
No, I appreciate this. This is like so much, it fertilizes the soil, and it, someone had said recently, like, when you're high, don't make a decision. When you're low, don't make a decision. The high because you'll be over ambitious, the low because you'll, sabotage. And so having, this conversation just really reiterates it and reminds me of that, because, like I said, as I go into the rest of the year, I'm just really going to be strict with myself. And so knowing, like, giving myself some wiggle room around the yes or the no, that's going to be something new for me to do. And I'm looking forward to it. It's a good thing.
Yeah. And it'll make it like all of a sudden you'll say yes to the right things. Like it'll make a really big difference.
Yeah. I love that. I love that for me.
Yeah. I love that for you too. I've just clocked myself. Like I don't know if you can see my T-shirt. I went to tea ceremony and then went to ride my horse, and then I've been on calls ever since. So I've got helmet hair and a white T-shirt with like horse snot all over it.
You can't see it. So like, maybe just scrub that.
I'm getting away with it. Oh, well, I'm living my best life. What can I say?
That's all that matters.
Well, thanks so much again, Amanda, and thank you for all that you've been contributing to my HTX collective, because we've all been having so much fun.
Oh, I'm glad. I appreciate the invitation. I have enjoyed it, and I'm going to be sad to teach the last class, but I'm excited for them. And I'm excited to hear the updates and stories and ahas and synchronicities and all of it. So I hope that I can come back and just like peek in and say, hey, how's it going?
I love it. I've already mapped it out for everything we're learning this year, because every time you teach something, I'm like, oh, wow, that maps to this part of your design or that, because I'm all about the patterns. So it's already being integrated. We're all talking. Every other call, we're like, okay, but did you think of this or did you think of that? Oh my God, that would work really well. So I'm so excited about it.
That's really fun to hear. Thank you for sharing that.
And thanks everyone for listening along. I trust you got what you needed from today's episode, and I so look forward to having you on the next one. Bye for now.